waters are fast-moving.
Unlike other big rallies,
But earlier at about 7 a.m., a group from the Coast Guard.
Welcome to #PHVote 2013. Today on Rappler, the Philippines wants Malaysia and Vietnam to join its case against China. The government extends the operating hours of the Metro Rail Transit. And Ukraine's ousted President Viktor Yanukovych emerges after 5 days in hiding. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. The Philippines wants Malaysia and Vietnam to join its historic case against China in the West Philippine Sea or the South China Sea. The Philippine government's lawyer, Francis Hardaleza, says the two countries, quote, can either join us or they can file another case which can theoretically be consolidated.
We have been hoping that those two countries will not only interpret but join us, but that is their own decision. Well, we will consider whether all of the protests that they have had will be part of our memorial.
The Philippines is set to submit its memorial or written pleading on the case with an international tribunal by March 30th. Reuters reported Malaysia and Vietnam are working more closely with the Philippines in dealing with China over the South China Sea. On Thursday, Hardaleza says the Philippines may use a water cannon incident in its case against China. Chinese patrol ships allegedly fired water cannons at Filipino fishermen near the disputed Panatag Shoal or Scarborough Shoal. With increasing rush hour traffic, Senator Ralph Recto urges the Transportation Department to extend the operating hours of the Metro Rail Transit Line or MRT along EDSA. Rush hour traffic is every urban commuter's nightmare. Several measures are being considered to ease this. Recto suggests extending MRT trips until midnight. The MRT currently operates from 5:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. The Transportation Department begins a month-long test of extended operating hours. The North Avenue station opens 4:30 a.m. and closes 10:30 p.m., while the Taft Avenue station operates from 5 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. Recto says by extending its operating hours by just 1 hour, the MRT-3 can theoretically field 20 more trips. Even if just 8 trips will be put in service during the extended period, they can still carry what 200 buses can. On Monday, the Transportation Department says it gave a Chinese firm the go signal to supply 48 coaches for the MRT. Transportation Secretary June Abaya says new coaches were expected as early as 2007. He says the MRT carries 600,000 passengers a day, far more than its design capacity of 350,000. For our social media post of the day, on a good day, taking the MRT is fast and convenient, but the railway system has deteriorated in recent years, becoming a source of inconvenience. Will extending operation hours help decongest the jam-packed trains? May Lakdao asks, I don't think it's a matter of operation hours, but rather an issue of the number of train cars available. Increase the number of train cars. Super Marlon Agi says extending operations till midnight will be of great help to those working late or mid-shift. In Tacloban, Typhoon Yolanda, international name Haiyan, left a trail of destruction. Survivors try to move forward one day at a time. Here's a story of two women coping in different ways. Natasha Gutierrez reports.
Two women, same name, same misfortune. Jenilyn Pondon and Jenilyn Villarmin are Typhoon Haiyan survivors. But how they are coping are drastically different. Pondon's family now lives in a bunkhouse built by the government. She shares a common bathroom and stove with other refugees. There's no electricity, they're far from their old neighborhood and source of income.
Ngayon marami ng problema namin kasi wala yung puhunan yung asawa ko pagtitinda ng isda, yung mga anak ko, ito madalas to hikaon, walang pambili ng gamot. Kasi yung asawa ko nagdala ko na lang para makabili ng gamot nito.
Even something that signals a return to normalcy, like sex, is a challenge. Bunkhouses are cramped and built close together, and residents have no chance to be alone with their partners. Pondon and her husband shares their unit with 2 kids and a brother.
Okay. Sir, hindi na nga kayo nagkakataon magkaka-chance na mag-isa?
Wala ma'am.
Nasala na dito?
Oo.
Nais po natin kamustahin.
The government says they want victims' lives to return to normal. But with the most basic things difficult to do, normalcy is far from reality.
Others have decided to take matters into their own hands. Rather than stay in tents like these behind me, they've chosen to rebuild their lives without the government's help. They say it's quicker this way.
In no-build zones right by the ocean, residents like Villarmin rebuild their lives. Relying on government, they say, will take much longer. They build new houses where their old ones stood, saying a super typhoon won't happen again anytime soon.
Diyan, may magbabahay pa dyan. Ilang bahay pa yung magtatayuan dyan, dito, sa likod namin. Marami pa magbabahay.
They enjoy electricity, their own kitchen, and with the sea nearby, food and livelihood. Villarmin says she and her husband enjoy some privacy. With their needs met, it's hard for them to leave.
Wala naman malilipatan at saka wala naman kami mapupuntahan na iba. Dito naman kami lumaki, dito na kami sinilang, dito na lang kami.
This is the challenge for the government, to convince survivors their sacrifices now are worth it in the long term. Pondon's life is difficult now, but she holds on to the government's promise life will be better. But the government must also convince people like Villarmin who opt to return to danger zones. To do this, the government must not just keep its promise to build back better. It must build back better soon. Natasha Gutierrez, Rappler, Tacloban.
At least 12 people, including 2 Filipinos, are killed in a blast in Qatar Thursday. At least 31 others are injured after a gas tank of a restaurant in Doha exploded. Television footage shows the blast tearing through a nearby restaurant and mall. Paramedics carry covered bodies past rubble from the building. The Interior Ministry says the injured Filipinos are getting medical attention. Ukraine's ousted President Viktor Yanukovych emerges Thursday after 5 days in hiding. Yanukovych remains defiant, telling Russian news agencies he still considers himself president. News agencies in Moscow say Yanukovych will hold a press conference in Russia in his first public appearance since fleeing Ukraine following a bloody week in the capital Kiev that killed nearly 100 civilians. The ousted president is wanted for mass murder over the deadly protests. Western governments also raised concerns about the danger situation in the Ukrainian region of Crimea. On Thursday, pro-Russian gunmen seized government buildings and hoisted Russian flags. In response, Ukraine's new leaders warned Russia against any aggression on the volatile peninsula. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 6, Seoul's defense ministry says North Korea test-fired 4 short-range missiles into the sea Thursday. A ministry spokesman says the missiles, with an estimated range of around 200 kilometers, were fired off the east coast of North Korea. It's not unusual for North Korea to carry out short-range missile tests. Pyongyang used them earlier to show its displeasure at the annual military exercises between South Korea and the United States. At number 8, a non-governmental organization says nearly half of foreign domestic workers who got pregnant in Hong Kong had their contracts illegally terminated. In a paper it submitted to the Legislative Council, the group Pathfinder says the foreign workers are exposed to a range of financial, social, and legal difficulties in their host country. The group urges the Hong Kong government to provide support to workers who stay in Hong Kong to seek legal help. And at number 9, Wednesday was a happy day for science with the announcement of 2 major discoveries. In the United States, NASA says the Kepler Space Telescope discovered 715 planets orbiting 305 different stars. 4 of these planets are about the size of Earth. In France, scientists discover a new type of microscopic particle cluster. It is found in solid materials but strangely behaves like a liquid. They call it the Droppleton or the quantum droplet. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page that crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that have gotten the most number of votes on the mood meter. These stories have affected our readers and viewers the most in the last 24 hours. If you take a look today, we have story in the morning, thousands trapped in serious Yarmouk camp slowly dying, 27% angry, 70% sad. This story has been going on for weeks now. And we have the water cannon incident, means China violated UNCLOS, 71% angry, interestingly, 3% annoyed, and that leading us to the mood that's gotten the most number of votes in the last 24 hours. How the left didn't lose. It's by former Congressman Mong Palatino. A response on thought leaders. You have 37% happy and 51% annoyed. Annoyed, bringing out the mood of the day. To date, most people are annoyed. Well, that's Rappler's newscast for today, Friday, February 28, 2014. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.